I've been waiting for about 2 months for my observatory to be produced and shipped to me. And last Monday, a truck showed up, and inside it were a very big pallet with a lot of stuff on it. And as it was getting unpacked, it was beginning to get clear that my observatory was finally here. The driver was kind enough to help me unload it. I just spread it out all over the lawn because we needed to get everything off the pallet. I didn't have a forklift, so I could restack everything back on the pallet again after he left. After that, I had to go back to work, but later that day, I had a chance to get a closer look at what actually arrived. So this is the pile that has arrived. That's, as you can see, still in pieces. I did opt in for having it pre-treated, so it already had its first layer of wood protection, so it doesn't matter if it gets wet or anything, it's okay. They do recommend to give it a second layer, and I'm going to do that. They said try to do it before you assemble, and I agree that would be easy, but the problem I have is, as you can see here, this is upside down, but this is board number D9. And you'll also see here they have labels here that say that this is A9 to A13. So all the boards are labeled, which is extremely nice, but I'm going to be basically giving it a stained piece of color wood protection so it matches like houses. But that would obviously mean I can't read those labels anymore, and I'm never going to figure out how all this goes together without those labels. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and assemble it as is, and then we're gonna go and give it more wood protection after it's been assembled. And I actually realized that, despite me promising to do so, I never actually gave you guys a look at where the observatory is gonna be and what the view is gonna be from that location. So let me do that. Okay, so it's gonna be sitting right here. Oh, hello. He's really enjoying this place. So I'm going to be putting it here. This entire little section of hedge is going to go down so it can come in closer that way. And the observatory is going to be pretty much here. So there are obviously 3 trees around, as you can see. Most of this horizon here is 20 degrees, that tree line there. It does go up to 30 right there. South is this way, so that's the only thing that's a little annoying. Obviously all this is going to go down, and most of this stuff over here, we do have that one that's a little tall. I think that goes up to 30 as well. But most of the stuff over here is going to be relatively low. But again, as I am planning to observe mostly when we get above 30, I'm going to have basically things come up here. They come up at 20 degrees. They're going to come up here in the south where we have pretty decent view, and then it's going to sit over there. So it is a bit of a balancing act. Of course, yes, I'm going to lose some horizon, but it also means that I'm going to have very, very excellent wind coverage. It actually reminds me of something else I wanted to show you with the observatory. Let me see if we can actually see this anywhere. Oh yeah, we can actually see it here. So this is the south-facing wall, where you can see it has these bristles. I don't know what you call those. This is an optional extra, I think they call it the extreme weather kit, which I've opted for. It also comes... Let's see if we can find one of those boards. You can actually see one of those in there. You can see there's this like big stud standing out there from the board. And they're in multiple places. I think there's also one over here. There you can see the other one there. I'll see if we can find the bracket that they're going to attach to, but I think they're kind of buried deep in all this. The idea with that is that it's going to be a bracket that's going to come in over those bolts, and when the roof is closed, it's going to hold the roof latch so it can't lift. So the idea is that it's prevent the roof from just being lifted off. I'm not too afraid of that. As you can see with the tree line, I have pretty good wind coverage here, so I'm not too afraid of wind. But I mainly got it because of those bristles there, because in the winter here in Denmark we do get snow, and we can get quite a bit of snow, and as the roof is just going to be sitting on top, snow can of course make it into the observatory. It's not going to be completely airtight, and that's what I want to avoid. I want to avoid in a snowstorm that is snow that's going to come inside the observatory. That's why I went for that kit to kind of help prevent that. That is not the only thing that arrived. I also got a big box of stuff. I have just been briefly looking at it. I haven't really been diving deep into what's in here. So let's do that together. This, I assume, is just paperwork. Yeah, so this is an assembly manual, other notes and quirks. Dragonfly. So this is the controller that we're going to use to control the roof. Documentation for that. And a USB stick. Okay, let's see what else we're dealing with up here. We have a massive box. Loads of smaller things out here. Can we get some of this out? What is this? It's very small. Yeah, look at that. That's the end stop for the roofs. So that's basically the roof, so that it knows when it reaches the end, when it's fully opened, it's gonna trigger one of these switches, and similar fashion when it's fully closed, so the motor knows where to stop. Like it says here, opened, closed. So I figured out this is keys. So we're gonna open those in a second. We can come in and look inside this. Down here we have the actual bracket that's gonna be going into the observatory. Then obviously the motor that's gonna drive the roof and the sprocket. And then there's a box down here. I'm gonna come to that in a minute. I don't know what that is, but let's go ahead and get this opened up. This thing here, we could probably go ahead and open. This. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here. Ooh. So this is the Dragonfly. This is basically a smart relay designed for astronomy roof controllers. As I said, this does communicate over ASCOM. You can see here we have a number of comms in. We have some 5 volts in here, if you guys can see that. That can then trigger these nominal open, nominal close, and COM ports up here. So we basically have 8 relays that you can control from in here. Obviously there's even a little relay here, and I guess this is then the motor driver. I assume that is the motor driver. They said specifically in the instructions, don't touch this. They already pre-programmed this, so not gonna do that. Now, there was that extra box down here, which I am kind of curious about. I am hoping that this is all the screws. Yes. And they're labeled, individually backed, labeled. I love you guys. Now, before I can begin the actual assembly, we need to actually have a place to put it. And for that, we're gonna need some more materials, so it's time to go shopping. Now, I actually have one more thing. Come here. I want to show you guys, because I actually never showed you this. This is the pier that I'm going to be installing. Got that second hand as well, as you can see. Steel pier. And I also got a bunch of these. These is my brother. He repairs like large industrial machines for a living. And this is the wire that the welding, or the spool that the welding wire comes on. So I have a bunch of these, and my plan is that I want to take those and I'm going to cast those into the foundation for the pier. So obviously the pier is going to have its own foundation, and those spools is going to basically be my my armoring, or my wire that's going to go in the foundation to keep it rigid. Because I got them for free, and well, spending enough money on this already. And then of course there's going to be threaded rods going into the foundation. It's going to be 6 so that they match the hole patterns here at the bottom. 6 holes. So 6 1-meter poles or threaded rods. They're going to go vertically down through the foundation for it as well. And then that's going to bolt the actual pier onto that. And then obviously I have a adapter for the top here, so we can put a Skywatcher mount on and stuff like that. So materials is really beginning to show up now. While it doesn't look like it right now, weather forecast calls for rain in about an hour. Welcome to day 2, and today we're going to begin building the frame. You can see I got all the lumber yesterday, and the plan is to get the base of the observatory and then build a frame out of that to put it on, and then that frame can go in the foundation blocks. Alright, so I'm just checking here if we're square. So we're going to measure from there. That's 30 on that end. We are 40 on the other beam. So if we are perfect square, we should be able to put that right on that mark, and then that should be right on 50. Look at that. That is pretty damn satisfying. I love that. Just for reinforcements, I got heavy-duty angle brackets, 1 in each corner. I got this whole box of assorted screws after my dad, and I think these are gonna be fine because like that should be fine, and they have boring tips, which is really nice as well. Now it turns out those angle brackets have very, very sharp edges. So if you ever wondered what swearing in Danish sounds like, well, here's an example. Fuck. So yeah, I will be wearing gloves for the rest of this video. Okay, next job is floor joists. You can see here I have already pre-cut out the beams, and you may notice that the gap here in the middle is bigger than those two out here. These are obviously not put in place yet, just loosely put in there. I made a little jig so I can see where the shoes are going to be sitting that's going to hold them, but I made the gap here bigger because this is of course the center where the foundation for the pier is going to come up through the floor, and it needs to be slightly bigger than it would otherwise fit through the normal spacing here. So I made the spacing bigger here to make room for the pier foundation to come up through the floor. That was hot, but I'm done. Look at that. Nice big opening in the center. Only a little bit of damage, but I mean, if you squint a bit, it almost looked like it's built by someone who knew what they were doing. But yeah, pier's gonna go in here, and then floorboards on top. Now I'm aware that I probably did like a gazillion things wrong along the way here, and for people out there who actually have experience with construction, probably going to be screaming at their screens right now, but hey, I'm a software guy, and this is the first time I built anything of this caliber, and this has been really fun. So do stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys around. This is the telescope for my new fully remote observatory that's currently in the process of being built. I should say that we are just going to